Hey guys, welcome to the best laid plans. Remember all that excitement?
Oh my gosh,
Backs on backers, all that good stuff.
Water literally poured on those plans today.
And continues to, as you can see it. I'm Dejan Kovacevic. He's Chris Halleck. We're from DK Pittsburgh Sports, and we cover the Steelers when they're there to be covered, which was about, that lasted about 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Up there. Yeah. And then they got covered by something else. This stuff just crushing St. Vincent College throughout the afternoon. They had to clear the people out and all that other stuff. The Steelers have taken their practice indoors, but don't worry, you're not going to miss anything.
No. I mean, when we're talking potential for backs on backers or anything else that's related to pads, that's not happening today.
You can't do it in a gym.
You cannot.
Let's put it that way.
It is literally a basketball gym that they're going to be going into. So when we're talking about what all they can do, this is not going to be a normal practice. This is, I want to say, like a glorified walkthrough, pretty much, what they're going to be doing today. And it's just the situation that they're in. It's, if they called it earlier, maybe they could have driven to the south side and practiced there, but that obviously didn't happen. I think the weather has been a little bit unpredictable out here. With the temperatures, what they've been, and the way things go out here in Westmoreland County, it's interesting that this rain is just going to pop up out of nowhere sometimes.
So they lose a day of practice, really. I mean, there's no way around that. You can do walkthroughs. That's some of the stuff that Aaron Rodgers was doing with these guys whenever they had gotten onto the field. Mm-hmm. Interesting observation from it. It was 3 minutes to analyze the practice here, but Darnell Washington was lined up at what appeared to be left tackle. Now, let's quash that before it gets any further, because everybody who was here saw Darnell at left tackle.
Right.
No, he's not going to be a left tackle.
No, this is one of those situations, one of those formations where you overload one side, so you take the normal tackle that's on the left side and you move him over to the right side. So you're literally going from left to right, tight end, guard, center, guard, tackle. So it's when you have a tight end like Darnell Washington who's built like a tackle, you can do those type of formations and you can overload one side. The Steelers aren't the only team to do this. Other teams have done it before too. But it's still interesting to see that being utilized because when you have certain players with certain skill sets, you take advantage of it.
That's the practice analysis. The practice that's going to take place indoors is not open to the media, much less the public. So it is going to be what it is. When we come back, we're going to tackle an issue that came up here this morning with Peyton Wilson as it relates to communication in the secondary.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
What the heck happened? Welcome back. This live episode of Double Shot is brought to you by Dazzle Sports, a premier source for sports memorabilia from the National Football League to Major League Baseball, everything in between. Autographed memorabilia from your favorite athletes, including jerseys, photos, game-used items. You can also find cards and other collectibles. Show them some love. We're urging you to show them some love. And get 20% off on your entire order when you do that. Use the code DOUBLESHOT, that's one word, at checkout at www.dazzle-sports.com. Dazzle Sports isn't just a store, it's where sports memories come to life. There is no practice, but there was an availability.
Thankfully, yes.
Yeah, right, for those who came here to cover actually something. Peyton Wilson was one of those who spoke this morning in what we call the cafeteria session, which is where you just hang out outside the cafeteria and get them going in for lunch. And Peyton is a guy who I don't think people realize necessarily knows he's a guy. Okay, Peyton
Right.
says every once in a while, for a guy who's really mild-mannered and all that other stuff, he will say something that will make you go, whoa.
Yeah.
And he had one of those, at least in my eyes today, in pointing out what he felt were communication issues last season. Nothing new there, of course.
Right.
and then, how it's been addressed this season. Were you surprised to hear him be as candid as he was?
A little bit, but the more, it's not that he's talked like every day or anything like that throughout, OTAs, training camp, everything. But when he does talk, he does sound a little bit more mature than he did last year. He sounds like a guy who's a little bit more sure of himself, not in a cocky way or an arrogant way, but just somebody who's not as, I don't know, trepidatious, I guess.
Yeah. He's not. He has stepped up, and he understands that he has to step up, and he understands that if he doesn't, Cole Holcomb's going to take his place. Right. Presuming, we'll see how that ends up playing out anyway.
Right.
I don't know that any of that's etched in stone behind Patrick Queen, but where this kid is concerned, first of all, let's play the clip here. He's referring to just some differences in the defense, in particular in the secondary and in coverage.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of knows what happened at the end of last year with communication and stuff. I don't think we have too much different stuff going in. I just think you see us flying around a lot more so just because of the communication from the back end to us to the D-line. Everyone's just comfortable in their role and their position and just flying around. Yeah, there's no, how do you say it? You don't have to really game plan to help people out anymore. We have guys you can put on an island at any position, whether that's linebacker, our nickel spot, our DB spot, safety spot. You can put them on an island and they're going to get the job done, and you can trust them that.
Okay, Chris, so what everybody wants to hear is, who's he talking about? Who's he talking about? Is he talking about Minka? Was he talking about Minka? Is he talking about Dante Jackson? Who are they covering for?
Right.
What's this miscommunication stuff? How much of it was Cam Sutton? I ended up blaming a lot of it on Cam Sutton.
Yeah.
But it's like, what is he actually referring to here as best as we can tell?
Well, the fact of the matter is that I think when you have a situation like that, I don't think it's just one guy. And when it's not just one guy, that probably means that there are, number one, there could be a couple of different players or a few different players who are struggling with that. But then also, there might be a core issue there. Somewhere, somehow, there was a breakdown. Now, that could be why Scott McCurley came in and took over as the inside linebackers coach, and why Gerald Alexander came in and became the new secondary coach. I don't think that it's a coincidence that of the few changes that actually happened to the coaching staff, that it happened at linebacker and it happened in the secondary. So it could just have been a complete breakdown, not just on the player side, but on the coaching side as well. And again, I don't think it's just one guy, but to hear that, because Minka said something very similar.
He did
during OTAs, and to hear Peyton Wilson say it today, it's just really interesting to hear that again. That's the furthest my brain can go is man, how bad were these issues last year?
They had to have been really bad. And at the same time, you look at what's there now, and this was something else that Peyton brought up. They've got 3 coverage people.
Right.
And as Wilson laid it out, they're told, here's a guy, go cover that guy. So no one has to worry about who's picking up this or that or whatever, because they know in advance. It's a strip the entire process of communication kind of approach.
Yeah.
You don't have to communicate anything. Yeah. Okay? See that guy that Darius Slay is standing across from? That's his guy. All right?
Yeah.
If they move at the line of scrimmage, meaning the other team, Darius is going to go with him.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be complicated. If they're going to get beaten, this defense, it's going to be because those guys get beaten. It's not going to be because, who's, what, wait, hey, huh? It's just going to be because of football reasons.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't mean they're going to be playing man coverage 100% of the time because, but the one thing that this does do for the Steelers defense, when you have Jalen Ramsey and Joey Porter Jr. and Darius Slay, and you have that ability to match up and to man up with just about any offense in the league, and they have the confidence that they can do that. You think about the Cincinnati Bengals, and the talent that they have at receiver. They are confident that they can match up with any team, and that's the reason why they did this. There is a concerted effort to be able to have that ability so that what they're doing in terms of what they disguise up front isn't just giving disguises when you're not really disguising anything because you have to cover up for, lack of ability at cornerback or in the slot. I mean, I don't remember what the numbers are specifically, but the Steelers were terrible in terms of teams targeting the middle of the field last year because, well, why do you think? Because they didn't have a reliable slot receiver or slot corner, because, whether it was either Beanie Bishop or Cam Sutton. And it's a game changer to have this, and it does make things a little bit easier for the linebackers when they're communicating as well.
The funny thing is, we're talking about a game changer in the secondary, and we're talking about the most significant change on this defense happening in the secondary, and yet, what were all of us talking about after Baltimore? It was all about run stopping. Why? 299 yards. Okay, so Landon Roberts goes. Cole Holcomb returns.
Mm-hmm.
That's obviously favoring coverage over run stopping. Not that Holcomb can't stop the run.
Right.
You get the idea. Mm-hmm. It's fascinating to me that the coaches, and of course you're talking at the top here about Mike Tomlin, said to themselves, after all that, let's fix the secondary.
Well, they also
Think
addressed the
about that.
defensive front, too.
No, the
Quite a
defensive
bit.
front. Right,
Yeah.
right, of course.
Yeah. I mean, when you go to Mobile, Alabama in the Senior Bowl, and the first steps you take toward the draft are literally not just committing all of your time to one position, the defensive tackle position, but borderline salivating over those guys.
He was there to watch the spit.
Seriously.
He was a drool.
And then it's the same thing at the combine, and then throughout pro days. I understand, when it came to the pre-draft visits, it wasn't like they brought every single guy in, but they met with all the top guys. They met with Derek Harmon. They met with Kenneth Grant, whether through the Senior Bowl or the combine or the pro. Throughout the entire draft process, they met with all of those top guys, and then they went through and checked out some of the depth there too. That's why you see Y.A. Black. When Jack Sawyer's sitting there in the fourth round and he's still available, you're taking him because then you solidify the edge position, which is the defensive front as well. So they still made a concerted effort to overhaul that.
They did. I guess when I'm talking about the secondary in 2025, you're going to include inside linebackers. You just have to.
Yeah.
And they're part of that. It's not just, there's a line that's drawn after the slot corner or whatever. Deshaun Elliott is a guy who is kind of that tweener. He might be that line. Mm-hmm. And Deshaun is obviously not someone who lacks in tackling skills, okay?
Right.
So the whole thing, Chris, it just feels like it's blurred. The whole concept that Tomlin occasionally will bring up of positionless football. This is Deshaun's a safety. Mm-hmm. But Deshaun might be one of your premier run stoppers.
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey is a corner or whatever the heck he is, but he might be the guy that's going after your quarterback. Mm-hmm. My heart thumps in so many different ways at the idea of the Steelers doing anything that's unpredictable, as opposed to what we've watched for 2 years now, which is, hey, let's see if TJ can make a play. Oh, he didn't make a play. Yeah. And guess what? The other team did really well on that play.
Right.
That can't be it. That could never be it. And that was exposed, I thought, in that Baltimore loss almost as much as the run defense.
Yeah. Well, the one thing when we talk about the run defense that I think the Steelers are really, really emphasizing is if they can win better up front, and the more you do that, the more you free up your linebackers where they're not having to get off blocks. If you're two big guys in the interior, if you only have the two interior guys, can both take on double teams and force the offensive line to double team them, that frees up the linebackers. And the more your guys can wreak havoc up front, whether it's 4 men up front or 5 men up front, the more they can wreak havoc up front, the more your linebackers are freed to make plays. And they believe in Patrick Queen, in Peyton Wilson.
They can close.
And yes, that they can do those things, and they're not going to miss tackles. And for all the talk about Patrick Queen's missed tackles, lowest tackle rate of missed tackle rate of his career last year. So
and they were all early in the season and lighten up on that.
Yeah, seriously. But then when you talk about the secondary, I mentioned like a smoke and mirrors type thing. Through talking through a few people up here and kind of wondering about like how the secondary is going to go. Looking at last year's secondary, smoke and mirrors only means so much if you're doing nothing but smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Because if you're not doing anything else on top of that, if you're not actually disguising for anything,
Your sideshow.
There's not any actual things you're hiding. You're just throwing a whole bunch of things, hoping that you could confuse when you're not really going to be
Think
doing
about
confusing.
here. If you want the parallel for this one, think about Matt Canada's movement at the line.
Right.
Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, what was that supposed to be? All that to just hand the ball off? Like, what
Yeah.
did you think this was still college? Like, we were supposed to fall for that? Chris, before we close out for the day here, this is going to frustrate the head coach. Mm-hmm. Okay? He already didn't like losing 20 minutes here or a half hour there.
Yep.
And there really is only so much that you can do, in a gymnasium.
Right.
You can line up for pretend walkthroughs, but they're actual walkthroughs. And they don't even move aggressively enough that you can hear the sneakers squeaking on the court the way you could in an actual basketball game. They're going to put in some time here over the next couple of days, aren't they?
They are. Now, the one thing that you can't do when it comes to practice in pads, you cannot go any more than 2 days in a row practicing in pads. Now, if everything would have gone right today, they would have practiced in pads today, they'd have practiced in pads tomorrow, gone back to no pads on Thursday, and then gotten back into pads for Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights, right.
So now you're going to have to, because you're going to want to be in pads for Friday Night Lights, it's going to be pads tomorrow, no pads on Thursday, and then pads again on Friday.
That's what gets lost.
Yeah.
And it's evaluation stuff, too. It's
Yeah.
opportunities for guys to learn, but it's also evaluation. Can you guys see this thing over here? See that crane off in the distance there?
Yeah.
You see that? That's the solution.
Barely.
Yeah, that's the solution, by the way, guys. That's an indoor facility that's being built here on campus at St. Vincent. It's going to have multiple uses. You don't just have to let it sit here for 340 days a year.
Yeah.
But it will be available to the Steelers as an indoor place whenever it is that they can't practice. And it's going to have a turf and everything else. So on a day like this, next year, they'll have that. Right now, they don't.
They don't have that. They don't have that. I think their general solution, especially if the forecast looks bad now, is okay. We know, or looks bad really early on. Is that okay? We know the weather is going to suck. Let's just go to the south side. We'll practice there today.
The south side of Pittsburgh, by the way,
Right.
is what he's referring
Which
to.
is- which is
not close.
Over an hour away. So when you get to already getting the players on the field for practice, it's a little late to be getting all those guys on buses.
Yeah,
so.
you can't be doing that. They've already stretched out. They've put their uniforms on. The pads are on. They were ready to go.
Yeah.
They were ready to go, and then it came. And by the way, this was not. If you want to blame weather people, go nuts, because this was not in anybody's forecast, at least not higher than 17%.
No, it was not. And again, just to reemphasize, nobody's missing backs on backers today because it's not happening.
Yeah.
So none of this stuff that everybody was looking forward to today, it's going to be pushed back to tomorrow. Now, forecast looks fine for tomorrow, but it also looks fine for today. So we'll see what happens.
Exactly. Guys, we appreciate you being with us. We appreciate you all the more if you're a member and you're supporting us. If you're not, go to dkps.net/join. Just type it into your web address. Super easy, 99 cents a month, and it covers all of our programming, including this guy's Chalk Talk, My Daily Shot podcasts, the Ramon Foster Show, all of Matt Williamson's content for us. All of that's under one umbrella. We love having you. We love having you even closer, like this. We'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully with more meaty stuff.